Hello, Merry Meet. So I wanted to review a tarot deck, and this deck I have been looking for so long, or not looking for, looking forward to, I should say. That's the right English word for it. Ever since I saw on Levelen sites that they were gonna release this, I just couldn't wait. And what I'm talking about is the Ghost Tarot. The artwork is by Davide Cosi and it's made by Lo Scarabeo. So yeah, it's a box. Back of box. So let's get on reviewing this, shall we? We can get the box open. For some reason the box on this just don't want to open. Oh, here it goes. Perhaps I've used it a couple of times now, so it's not... I mean, the first few times I opened this, it was more difficult to get these cards out than getting into Fort Knox. Not that I've really tried to get into Fort Knox, but you get my point. So, here are the little white book, or in this case, the little grey book. So, like a lot of Lo Scarabeo decks, it looks somewhat decent, but there's like 5 languages. Here, it's English, Italian, Spanish, French, and Deutsch. So yeah, it's same layout. It begins with a little bit of a discussion about this deck. Then it goes into the cards. And as you can see, it's 1 paragraph per card for the major arcana. And a little bit smaller paragraph for the minor arcana. And la 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 la. And where is it? Yeah, and here's completely at the start. There is a tarot layout for this deck. So yeah, it's a pretty disappointing little white book. I mean, they might as well not have bothered. That is something people say, but why do you talk about the little white books? They don't really matter, and that's the point. Either just save on paper and production cost and just drop these things, or make them so that it's actually possible to pick up the deck and learn to read it from this book. And like I said, unlike an oracle deck with a tarot deck, it's fine because you can just pick up any tarot book and just read that to learn about the cards. But it just seems so wasteful to me when they make this, that they just might as well just not have bothered. But let's get to the cards that I believe I have put in order for you here. So, title card that I have a tendency to always mix in with the other ones, and we can as well look at the back here. Back is very, very pretty. And the back I like is reversible, so you can't see if the card is upside down or not when it has its back turned, and that is good. So, let's have a look at the cards. Or some of them, that I'll have time to show all the 78 cards. As you can see, this has definitely got the Rider-Waite theme going, but with a bit of symbolism of its own, but mainly it's a Rider-Waite clone with a ghost motif. And it's a very, very pretty deck. It is made in a very dark and gothic style. Now, one thing I will say that I'm not overly enthusiastic about is that the backgrounds and so on looks very old, and basically it has that Renaissance, Dark Ages kind of feel to them. But many of the ghost figures, they look like they're made of lasers. So I get this whole lasers in Camelot feel of it, and that sort of is a little bit disturbing. I mean, yeah, this one definitely have the laser thing going. This one not so much, where they just used white lines, so it's not all of the cards. And I mean, this one is fine, but there are a few of them that really have that laser showing Camelot. But other than that, I think the art on this is gorgeous. just the kind of dark look that I really like to my cards. Now, is it so dark that you can't read for clients with it and so on? Well, like with any darker themed deck, I would look at what customer are arriving if you're reading for others, because some might have a problem with it. So if you really like dark decks, I would recommend to have a more neutral deck that you can read for people who might take offense at darker tones. However, I believe this one is generic enough that you can read for about anybody with them. Here we have a little Narnia theme going on. Sorry, but that's just how it looks to me. It fits very well with the symbolism of strength though, so can't complain. Oh, laser show in Camelot again. Yeah, that's what I want to do when I see this. So yeah. Ever seen that Transformers Generation 1 episode, a Decepticon raider in King Arthur's court? Yeah, that's this. This somewhere there sits a Decepticon and just generate these images with laser beams. Yeah, moving on. So, I mean, most of the images are beautiful, just that the outlines of the ghosts, when done in various forms of colors, have a tendency to become a little bit too bright and then look like lasers. I mean, this one works reasonably well. Hangman over here, we are back to laser beams. And yeah. And that sort of breaks with the whole gothic Dark Ages feel to it. So yeah, other than that, I don't know really what to say. It has good symbolism, it's a decent deck. The cardstock is okay. It's a lot better now. I mean, I have gotten a few of the newer low Scarabeo decks, and they have improved. There were a while when the low Scarabeo decks had appalling cardstock quality, but apparently they have discovered the problem themselves and have taken steps to fix it. So would I recommend this deck? Yeah, if you have an attraction to this deck, I definitely think it can work very well for you. It is a bit more gimmicky than many people would want for their decks, because it have all this invisible figure, ghost type feel to it, and some might like that and feel it gives a darkly melancholic feel to the deck, while others might have a more feeling that it's more like a collector's deck and more gimmicky. For me, I think I definitely see the gimmicky part of it, and so, but I think it can be pretty good to do divinations with. Anyway, as for meditations, personally, I would probably use a deck that's less gimmicky for meditation and spell work, because really, this is not how I envision spirits. I don't envision them as laser beam figurines. But so they don't really work, for example, because could I work for spirit work? No, not really for that. But for divination, all the symbolism is there from the Rider White deck. So for divination, it's pretty good. I've shown you the major arcana now. I'll show you some of the minor arcana. They are all illustrated. So you don't have any of those where only the aces are illustrated. All of them are just as beautifully as the major arcana cards, which I like. Let's have a few other sweets here. Court card. Two of coins. Three of coins with laser beams. Four of coins with laser beams. spirit meeting. And I think this is probably one of the most beautiful cards in the deck. And it is 6 of coins, isn't it? Yeah, it's 6 of coins. And I really, really love it because that is so gorgeous. That old man who hugs the tombstone of his late wife. I mean, yeah, I'm a goth, what can I say? These kind of imagery appeal to me. So, yeah. Let's have some other sweets. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, a king of coins. We have staffs. More staffs. Even more staffs. And the sweets are decked with a little stuff in there. So yeah, before this drags on into eternity, let me finish up by saying, if I can get these cards off my computer. It's a decent deck. It's a bit gimmicky. And if they could have toned down the laser show, it would have made the whole Dark Ages theme more believable. The only thing I can say that some people might react to is, as you can see, there are pretty big borders here. And some people will have an issue with that. I think it sort of fits with the artwork, but I can see how people don't like these blocks of borders on the other side and underside of the deck. Other than that, really, I have no complaints. It's a decent deck. As a gimmicky deck, it's very good, but it can also be used for proper divination work. So, yeah, I mean, I think Low Scriber did a good job on it. Is it an absolute must-have deck? No. If you want, I'm only gonna have a couple of tarot decks and I'm not interested in collecting them or something like this, is this the deck I would recommend you over all others? No, unless you have looked at these images now and feel that, oh, that's for me. No, I wouldn't really recommend that. But if you want something a little bit different and a little bit of a darker themed deck, I think this can definitely be for you. And this is my review of Ghost Tarot by David Corsi and published by Lo Scarabeo. I hope you have enjoyed this review. Have a great day and blessed be.